Another live session with the Paintology drawing app. Since you have to excuse me for not putting up the upcoming tutorial on YouTube, but you should check on a few of the resources just to make sure that there's the upcoming, so you can get ready for the upcoming tutorial. I put it up this morning, early this morning, when I realized I didn't have it on Paintology or Ferdouse channel, the two channels that I work with. So this is the live tutorial session that I've been doing daily for a number of weeks now, and showing you the techniques of drawing digitally, which is a departure from most other drawing apps that make use of a lot of tools to overcome the limitations of the drawings that many of us are used to in the with traditional materials. And the popularity of the digital tools can be attributed to the older top digital drawing apps. Sorry, the top popularity of the digital drawing apps can be attributed to many of the digital tools that overcome the limitations of a drawing that has been done in pencil and paper traditional materials. And many of you think that because you didn't have those skill sets when you were a young child drawing with the traditional mediums, the digital medium is working out to be far easier to use. And it's a double-edged sword, which I'm going to explain. And the double-edged sword is that you become highly dependent on the tools, and you therefore do not develop the core art skills that are fundamental to drawing, like making, how can I put it, to make fine art, like such as this, which I'm going to show you a few of my drawings. This one I completed yesterday. You can see here that this can be quite easily mistaken for an ink or a pencil. And the reason why this artwork appears like this is because I start drawing from the natural way in the first place, which is very much like the traditional method of drawing, yeah. And this is what Paintology is all about, to teach you those fundamental core skills in art that doesn't limit you. The tools do not limit you on how far you can go, and you can make drawings like this. People are, when they look at my digital artwork, are not sure what medium I use. They immediately assume it was done with traditional materials, but in reality it is done on the phone. And typically the way I draw is this way. I have this phone, Note 10, which is a good phone. It's the Note 10 Plus actually, which is a little bit bigger than the Note 10, but it's typical of most drawing apps, I mean most phones, Android phones. And you can get the Paintology app from the Google Play Store. If you type it in, you'll be able to get access to the Paintology app. It's a free app, which is where I make all these drawings that I'm going to show you. So I use a finger, and if you want to invest in drawing with more, I would recommend you buy a cheap stylus. Doesn't have to be expensive or fancy. The problem with most people who begin out digital try to go in it full hog, and they think they need all the best tools. They listen to all the other digital artists who are familiar with the big apps such as Photoshop, GIMP, CorelDRAW, the big apps that are hooked to Wacom tablets, and then they use a stylus, and they think that's really the only powerful method of drawing. And you can see clearly that's not the case. And if you do go by that route, I would recommend you get a feel for digital drawing in the first place using the Paintology or any other drawing app, and then decide if you want to go by that route. The reason why a lot of digital artists push for that is because they become highly they become an expert in those digital tools. Not so much the fundamental core skills of art, but some of them do possess that. But many of them will be dependent and become reliant on those digital tools, and that's how they create digital art, because that's how they started in the first place. But if you come from a traditional background, this is this method of drawing that I'm going to show you in Paintology will be very something you're very familiar with. You just the reason I can draw, make good drawings such as I've shown you, like this, is because I developed techniques, core art skills, which is familiar to digital artists. There's another one here, which was in the live stream yesterday as well. You can check out, and there's many drawings that I've done. You can go to my, sorry, the so bad here, drive, and then you can see some of my artworks. Just show you some of the good artworks I've done. Well, I find that, I can draw quickly, rapidly. Here's some of the artworks I've done. I'll go down because I've shown this before. Here's one. Here you can see this was the drawing done on the Galaxy tablet, freehand, just demonstrating the power of the digital tools, not necessarily the tools, the power of the digital medium. And it was done by hand, and I'm not talking about using digital tools and then you have a perfectly powerful medium which you just need one brush and the zoom and rotate feature which the Paintology has, and then away you go. And this is what I typically demonstrate in my live sessions. So these are all drawings that you'll mistake it for having been done in traditional. So you can see it's very hard for you to distinguish whether it was done. This was done in digital medium, but it doesn't look like it does. I was trying to create an effect on that. So this app is not for just because the people who come here sometimes think they know what they're think they know the subject matter inside out, but they don't. They usually judge and make a prejudiced judgment on the app based on the tool sets that it possesses, and that's a completely wrong approach. And in fact, a lot of people now do not comment as easily as they used to, where they used to say that this app was just for beginners, and you can see for yourself it goes beyond other digital apps in teaching you techniques and art. So that's how you should look at it. So I'm sure you're here for that purpose, to learn art, right? So techniques of art. And truthfully, the same techniques that you taught at the art classes will be taught here as well. So that's because I come from that background of traditional drawing, charcoal, pastels, graphite, you name it, acrylics. I've done it pretty much all, including oils. So, and then I've been able to apply it to the digital method of drawing, which to me is much more akin to real true drawing and painting. I find it I enjoy it far better doing. And by the way, I am very proficient in Photoshop, but I wouldn't use it for drawing. I use it for other purposes like logo, vector graphics, illustrations, and there's a whole, I can go on, but please do read some of my articles on the paintology.com. Let's go to this. Let's go to the. I'm going to go to the Chrome that I'm going to show you. This one here. if you're serious about learning art, this is the Google Classroom. There's a link in the description which you can sign up, and it's structured courses that I've designed for people who are interested in learning the core skills in art and not just necessarily driven by tools or any shortcuts that they want in order to achieve one of their aims. And like I said, it's a double-edged sword, right? You try and take shortcuts, which is quick. It is a form of quick satisfaction, isn't it? Just like any other in this fast-paced world that we live in, everyone's looking for quick fixes, quick results, quick assumption, quick decisions, and there's no room for actually going into any length. And when you do that, it's actually, you'll find that you will hit a limit, you will hit a ceiling. And this particular course has been designed with, even though it's using the Paintology as a platform for doing the art, practicing the art, it will teach you the fundamentals of art, which you can transition to any other art mediums, trust me. And I'm talking from experience. I'm not just a theoretician or whatever. I'm a practitioner of art, and you can see it from the many drawings I've done. In fact, I don't come from an art background. I actually come from a technology background. I have an electronics engineering degree. I took it to PhD level, and then I did internet web stuff, online applications for 2 decades, and then I decided to do my own thing, Paintology app, and bring my art into focus with the app itself. So that's how the Paintology app was born. Yeah. So let's go back. So I just wanted to show you that the reference image. Sorry, going back here. The reference image you will find in paintology.com, and go to the link halfway just below the video, and you'll see a page called Udemy live streams. On that page you'll see all the reference images of the streams I have been doing. And today, if you've looked at the upcoming stream, you'll see that I will be taking this particular drawing and doing this drawing, but I won't do it in black and grayscale, which you can switch off. Here I will be doing it in color. This is such a dramatic, beautiful scene, and the reason I picked this, for many reasons, I had to pass it with my young daughter of 9 who's getting involved with drawing. She loves art, and she told me when she looked at this picture, she said, yep, that's going to teach people blending. And blending is one of the key factors in drawing. You probably see this, a fundamental skill, blending, but it's one of the key components. Don't think it's all of it. There is actually, if you read my paintology.com blog post, you'll see plenty of posts with regards to digital drawing and even traditional, and it breaks down the myths of digital drawing, which most people pursue without thinking too much, and it also gives you clear explanations of new concepts which most artists do not go into, such as the drawing process, which I will go into while I'm making this drawing, and also the drawing steps, which is a result of the drawing process. Yeah. So blending, you'll find the fundamentals of art blog posts as well, talking about the fundamentals in more detail. I would also recommend you go to paintology.quora.com, which is a space that I'm active in, and I usually update everything on a daily basis on what I'm doing with the Paintology. And then there are also blog posts that you also Quora posts, which I've answered over 1,500 questions, I think, related to art since the last 4 or 5 years. So you can read about that. So it's not like I am suddenly found a skill and I'm pushing it to you and I want to make it available to you, it has been planned, developed over the course of 5, 6 years. In fact, I first started Paintology well over 10 years ago when I saw the niche area. Everyone was doing digital art in a way different direction to how I would use it. And then, life changes come into being, and one has to put that in the back seat. And then I resumed the Paintology about 4 or 5 years ago, and I've been at it ever since. And so that's why there's been a lot of interest by people like yourself who are beginning to see the value of what I'm trying to show, and I hope you're finding it useful. And also, just to let you know that the enjoyment of drawing and painting is such that I can't convey that to you, but only you can decide for yourself how much satisfaction drawing and painting one can derive from. That's the reason why a lot of people want to do drawing, not because they want to acquire a skill set, in my opinion, but because of the process, the journey of drawing and painting, the huge reward it brings. And in a day where we are living in a so fast, in a world that where we're living in a rapid pace world, it's nice to have some time out and just get lost in the moment when you're doing a drawing. It has enormous benefits. Yeah. So here's the drawing. Let's take a closer look. You can see it's a very it's a very ordinary drawing, and in fact the sunset drawings are very easy to do, and also they happen to have the maximum impact, and they're lovely drawings. And I've been doing, I encourage you to do black and white. So use the grayscale mode of drawing. And the reason for choosing to use grayscale mode of drawing is because you have only a black and a white type of gray tones to work with, as opposed to the deeper color tones. You see this red color tones? It could be red, but then you could see that the color tones here. Here, let me go to line brush. The color tones here could be yellow, not part of the red color. You can see that? So this is the red color, and you can assume that these tones are changing and getting lighter from dark to red. And this is something which you need to tune your mind into when it comes to drawing. Drawing is not so much an inherent skill, and I'm not going to go into detail. I've already dismissed the fact that it's not a skill, and if you go through Paintology, you will know that it's not a born skill, and it's something anyone can learn. And the reason why it's easy to learn on the digital app is that the traditional mediums have been very hard for an artist to explain the process of drawing. Let's say, you've seen hundreds of, drawings and artwork created by these fantastic artists. They take a blank canvas and produce a piece of art, and then you're just like mesmerized with how they managed to do that. It's a drawing process. A drawing process is anything that goes from zero to finish of an art piece. And the reason why the artist cannot clearly dictate what the drawing process is because it's unique to them. It's a very unique style, and the only way they really could teach you is sitting with you and going step by step. So, for example, when they do a drawing, they will stop every half a minute, take a picture, and say, "You need to do this. This is the way I was thinking. I needed to do that. Was the way I was thinking. I needed to do that. This was the way." And that's just not possible. And that's the reason why not drawing process has a different take from different people. It's not cannot be distilled until now in the Paintology, where you can see it for yourself. You can watch the video. You can also see that I've selected the line brush here. I'm not talking about tools. You will see that I don't venture far away from the line brush and go into any other tools. This app is designed to teach you art techniques, not finding tool set to do everything under the sun. If that's what you're looking for, then honestly, you should be looking for the other apps, and they have a bunch of tools to overcome this. But if you're serious about art from the purest point of view and drawing like the artwork that I've shown you, then this is the path you should go along, yeah? So I don't venture out too much, or I don't venture at all from the line brush, and maybe I could go to the switch to the shade brush for some blending, but that's about it. And then all I have are these setting here, beautiful setting. This is, think of this like an HB brush with hundreds of gradients, all the way from 100B to 1000 HB, you know? Can you think of that? It's just not possible. That's the reason why I can make photorealistic drawings you saw earlier. You will tune your brain and mind and your muscles as you keep drawing with the Paintology in understanding tones at levels not possible in the traditional materials. Okay, so let's fire away and go. And how should we tackle this? If you're new, you would probably not know how I tackle this. But it's a beautiful image, isn't it? You have to admit, such an attractive image with this superb blending. So I have recently learned more about blending when I worked with my daughter. She has a technique which she has showed me is using the line brush to lay down the original colors and then just using the shade brush to blend it. So that's what we're going to do. So the first thing is getting the exact tones there. You can, you look at this. Well, if you when you load it in trace mode, you think of the top half as belongs to the reference image, this top half. When you're here, this is your drawing canvas. You're trying to transfer that painting to the drawing that you're going to do, to the painting you're going to do, right? And this is yours. So the reason for doing it in such a manner is that the color picker will operate on the top half of the reference image. So anything I pick, let's go back to line brush and take it 100%. I'm keeping it 100% density. Now watch what happens when I pick the color. See, it's taking the tone that I put my finger on a stylus. See the blue? Can you see it? There it is. Blue, orange. Do you see all the colors I picked? That's because I picked the colors of the references. Now, if I were to be below in my drawing, let me do the same thing next to it. Why isn't it picking any colors? Well, that's because I'm picking only white, isn't it? It's always picking white. That's because I've got nothing in my drawing canvas. So let's undo that. Okay. And then that's a very critical and a very important component of Paintology drawing. What we're going to do now is select a brush size, let's say 18%, and see if that's, and then pick these blue tones here. Can you see that? Okay, so you have seen many drawings in traditional medium where they lay down very crude colors, blocky colors, and then somehow they gradually take it all the way to a realistic drawing or a realistic painting, and that's because of the drawing process. And they will show you little snippets of how they created the bush or how they created the fur, and that's it. That's all they can do, because as I've explained, the process of drawing for an artist to take it from zero all the way to finish is a huge monumental task, because first of all, they've got to take a picture of every 30 seconds. They can take a video recording, but then they have to explain every nuances of that drawing process. And that's just hard and tedious. And I don't think any artist will sit through that unless someone is prepared to pay them a great deal of money, right? And because then they know that most of these people will be too impatient to sit through all that. So that's why I'm saying the digital medium is so powerful, and I've come to appreciate it more and more. And I can tell you right now, even though I'm an excellent traditional artist using charcoal pencil, and a lot of my paintings and artworks grace the wall of my brother and sister. So you can see that they're really appreciated. But then I found there is the digital medium is supremely more versatile, especially after I've been developing the app for a number of years. Okay, so the first thing is we will do what the artists do is do this block coloring of, look what I'm doing here. I'm basically, I picked 18% here, density at 100%, and I'm simply, and my cursor is in the reference image, and I'm simply just going through the, look at the tones that change. Look at that beautiful tones. We're going to capture the same magical colors as in this painting, and that's what we're doing. We don't have to guess the colors. The color picker does it for us. Notice what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it through the trees and just leave enough so I can have enough space for the trees, yeah? Look at that, the colors intensifies towards the horizon, right? And then we're going to do similarly on the other half, right? We're going to do that, right? Color picker to get that dark blue on the top, color picker, right? So then we have the exact color tones of that beautiful sky that we want to do. Okay, so that's all I'm doing. I'm just, and if you've got the reference image, do please follow along with me so you can learn. Look at that. Why do you think that is dark? Yeah, you should know now that you know how to operate. Because remember where my stylus started is on that tree. So therefore I picked the color of that tree, and that wasn't my intention. So be careful, because the stylus or your color picker will pick the color that your stylus rests on or your finger rests on, okay? Very important to know that. And you'll come to know that. It's instinctive. It's not something I need to explain. I'm just saying that you will come to understand that as you keep using it. And remember, practice is what you should do. Now you have the ability to practice at a level not done before, because you have the same platform. And the same platform means your ability to follow along with me to the exact minute detail. I mean, what is it that if you're now following me, what is it that I'm doing apart from setting it at 18%, having 100%? I will be going through each of the steps and showing you how rapidly you could improve your drawing. And I'm going to teach you the basic fundamental methods of tones in this subject, yeah, and blending, tones and blending, which is a core subject in drawing. So what we're going to do is just lay down these colors, yeah. So there's a lot of people who do, obviously traditional art is going to be around us for a long time, but you might have heard a lot of people giving a bad rap on digital. And I think after you've seen me draw like this, you'll think, why are traditional artists so giving digital art such a bad rap? Because you will know that they give it a bad rap because everyone turns to the tools to do all their heavy lifting is all done through the tools. But here you'll see I rarely use any tools apart from the ones apart from one brush, and I don't go into layers or anything like that. If you're looking for those tools, it's because you simply become dependent on those tools to do your drawing, and your drawing, your actual final art piece will always look digitally created, whereas you can see my artwork looks very natural, and it's exceptionally hard for anyone to pinpoint what material I use. In fact, I posed a question on Quora of a drawing of a car, a realistic car that I did, and it was so funny. It was someone came back and said, "You used mixed media. You used watercolors for this. The chrome used acrylic, oils you used for the background, and etc." And I'm thinking, what? And then I had to tell him that I only used my phone and the digital medium, and I don't think he came back. Maybe he's like still trying to get over the fact that this is just not possible. Well, one needs to come and see the process of drawing, which is what I'm showing here, to appreciate art like you've never seen before, and that's what artwork should be like. So let's see what we have here. Look at that. We've done this, right? By no means finished, right? And you're thinking, how is he going to go from here to all the way to... But this is step one. You could say this is step 1 or 2 of the drawing process. Step 1, we'll call it. And now, because we've arrived, now here's the drawing process. And I think this drawing process will now become a thing for most people because it can be broken down into a digital medium. It can be distilled into, just like any skill can be broken down, like dancing, for example, can be broken down into steps, into moves, into stepwise manner of doing something, and then just continuously practicing it. The same can be done for painting. It's not a mysterious skill that many like to think they possess. So we've come to this step, and now if we had not come to this, is important to keep in mind. It may seem obvious, but if we had not come to this step, we would not be able to make a judgment on the next step. This is effectively what most artists, when they do a drawing, go through. They're constantly making decisions based on their experience of what the next step they should do. Constantly deciding it. They're making microscopic decisions. That's why it's really hard to put it down. But with this app, I'm going to explain to you that it can be broken down to a few little techniques, art techniques, that will rapidly increase your art skills. That's all I'm saying. So the first thing is, what should I do next? I believe the next thing is to fill in all the colors. You see the white areas here I left because they were smaller. They needed more TLC, right? Because they have a smaller. So I'm going to introduce the brush, keeping it 100%. I'm taking it down to 3.5%. Let's see if this brush does the trick. Yeah, it does. So in fact, I'm gonna see, and also notice that the brush is just about the right size that it actually picks the trunk of the tree, right? So let's go over it really quickly. Color picker, right? Color picker. Notice I'm just going around the tree now because I want to do the trunk at the end. Look, these are people there. So let's just put that down. Right, color picker, because the people color different. There's a girl in a swing here. Notice the colors that we picked is actually lighter around the girl here. Right, it's not that, because we used a broad brush earlier, so now refining this. Okay, We're basically refining this section because we're closed in, we're zoomed in, right? So we can do that because we're zoomed in. That's the beauty of the digital medium as well. The phone is such a powerful tool. You may think that, oh, you can't do good drawings. There will be some people who haven't drawn on phones in this manner, and they will say you need a large screen, a Wacom tablet, all that, That's not true, because you can see for yourself that drawings can be made realistically. Look at this. I've got 430%. Again, I keep forgetting to do the calculation, but that's equivalent to an A3 or A4, at least A4 size paper, which is typical of what most pencil artists would do, isn't it? Look, I'm picking the tone. It's all about tones. There are a lot of artists now, oil painters. One famous painter, I think his channel's called Mix Paint Draw or something, and he was commissioned to do the painting of the presidents, and he's got a channel, YouTube channel, and then he talks about the very thing. It's all about tones, mixing colors. That's all it is. He says, if you want to get a good replica, and this is what we're doing, getting the tones. If you want to get a good replica of a real life image or a painting or a drawing, you should look at tones. Just focus on tone, and that's all he does. He tells you how to to get the exact tones in oil colors. And the great advantage is that we have a digital medium to do the same. So look how quickly I'm going to go through this. I'm not going to spend too much time. I want you to be very rapid when you draw, right? And the reason why I can use the same color is because in the sunset, it's a silhouette, isn't it? It just makes sense. So this is a beautiful image that you can draw. And I've got, in the early live streams that I did, I actually drew live stream sunsets, and you should check it out. And I was like really surprised that they actually look almost photorealistic, even though I didn't put much effort and sitting in an hour and doing the thing. And then I was like thinking, why? Why would that be the case? And then I immediately realized that the tones or the contrasting image weren't that many, It wasn't as many as, let's say, a portrait, where if someone's doing a portrait, you got so many values of tones. And this is where the artist I was just telling you earlier talks about. When he talks about portraits, he tells you there's thousands of tones going on here, and the artist's job is to replicate those tones, and that's the challenge. And the artist who does it really well can pull off any type of drawing, just like I do. And like I told you, I don't have a art background. I'm just simply pure pleasure of drawing. That's all. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Look, we've drawn the tree and we've left something out, and then we can draw the reflection, right? So let's save this so I can, when I come to explain it more, when I want to break it down, right? So notice that I'm taking some of the sky colors, using the color picker to go around those areas, because we had a broad brush then, so I couldn't do this detailed work. Like now I can. So look at these colors. I'm pushing back the red, then I'm bringing some of those darker colors. Okay, that's all I'm doing. And then picking the color picker always just to get those colors. Is this, if you think that this is difficult, then You know, you might say the writing is difficult, isn't it? If you can write, you can surely do this. Color picker. So one of the big reasons why many people fail in drawing or don't take it far is because they're hesitant, they're not confident, they're lacking in confidence, and they're afraid what others might say about their artwork. You know, everyone goes through that. Everyone goes through that. And then eventually you'll get to a point where all they can do is just scratch their head and say, wow, how did you do it? And then they keep scratching there and saying, you were born with that skill, weren't you? And then you just only started like a 6 months ago or a few months ago. A lot of people ask me whether formal training, which is quite flattering, you know, and I have to tell them and say, no, anyone can do it. If you want to learn, you can do it. If you're interested in learning. But there's a lot of us who actually want to reassure themselves that it's a born talent, and then so they can continue throughout their lives to reassure themselves that they weren't born with it, and hence the reason why they didn't pursue it in the first place. It's so sad, isn't it? But there are people like that, unfortunately. Okay, so let's see what we have here. We've got a good rendition of what's going on now. Can you see now? There is also some trees in the background, but we're not going to focus on that just yet. But can you see this big blob here, which is not picking the colors, the actual true colors? I'm going to correct that. And the reason why I didn't pick those true colors is because I probably picked up on a bush, right? Let's see what we have here. So we should take our, there, can you see it? There. Because the details were there. There. Now we're getting the colors, right? There. Okay? That, there. Because we picked up on a bush and then we decided that the bush should run across the scene and it's not. Okay? So the same thing on here, right? So this is where you're going to learn about, see that? The same thing. And I'm not worried about the details yet. Let's see if we've got this right. Yeah, we have. That one is the right tone. And then let's see if we've got the right tone here. There's a lovely pink tone here. Right? And then notice this one here. Can you see it? There's some red tones, but we have something which is even more interesting of those bushes there. Right? So we're going to create these lovely bushes and use the same tone. You don't have to pick selecting the color because they're so dark. They're fairly dark and they're indistinguishable in terms of the tonal values that are going on. And then anything else. So this is what happens when you get close to the detail. Your brain becomes more tuned. See that in here? This bit here? See? That's something we didn't capture with the bigger brush. That's it. There. So while you're there zoomed in, try and get much of the pictures. Because, you know, you want to do this fast. You don't want to do this slow, do you? So we got this, right? And then, so this is like a step in the direction of where we want to go. See this detail there? Okay, now let's go here and see. Look at this whole image again in step number 4, perhaps. Let's save this. Okay, so let's look at if you go here, this is where I actually go to the original drawing and my drawing here, right? This is my drawing all the way down to the bottom. And then if you can click on it and then you'll find that you can alternate between your drawing and my drawing. Okay, your drawing, my drawing, your drawing. So my drawing, the reference image. Sorry, reference image, my drawing. Reference image, my drawing. So the slider keeps going. And that is very, very important. Remember, most drawings are based off a real object, real anything that we see in front of us, landscapes, you name it, and we're trying to render this into a piece of art of our own making, right? Remember, it's of our own making, so whatever artwork we do, it's unique to us. It's our unique style of drawing and painting. So let's look at this again. See that this land patch here on the left side, right here? That looks like it's so distant, isn't it? And then we have a nice little small area here. You see how your brain starts tuning into these tiny details. Yeah, and then you can also see some of the things that you may have missed out. Like, for example, I've missed out this area here, and then I missed out this little land area here. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to zoom in, take this halfway, and then I've still got the small brush. That's it. That's all that's needed. And then here, same thing. There. I'm not talking. I'm not talking about the details. I'm just getting most of the colors down. And now, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to go straight into blending. And then, like I told you earlier, I'm going to blend the sky. And so let's look at the sky. Such a beautiful sky, isn't it? Beautifully blended. So let's switch to shade brush. And then let's keep it at 100%. So nothing fancy going on here. 16%. And then let's get this color picker and pick that blue, the dark blue on the right here. So color picker, dark blue. Color picker, dark blue. Can you see it? The color has changed on the top right color bar. And then let's see what happens if we use that shade brush. Wow, it's blending, isn't it? Can you see it? That shade brush is working beautifully, isn't it? So notice where the distinct edges are. I'm just trying to use the shade brush to bring that distinct edges away. And then I'm going to pick the next blue color, light blue, and then again do the same. And maybe you want to adjust this a little tad here. So then you don't have to, it doesn't have to be a big brush, okay? Right. And then I pick the blue here, and then I just merge that. I just want to get rid of those horizontal lines that I'd put down in the first place. That's all I'm doing. And then here, the next color here, or the color of the I don't know what color that is, but I'm going to try and blend that. And then you can see how the blending is working. Yeah, yeah. And then color there. Pick the color there, that lighter blue, and merge it into the top. And now we're going to pick this color here, yeah, and then just go on the edges where it's actually quite distinct, yeah, and then just merge it. And if it's not working as you'd like, pick the lighter tone that's appearing there, and then change the brush size. So this I'm not going to tell you in detail, but you can come back to it and follow it and say, why is he doing this? He's doing this for that reason. It makes sense now. I'm going to go here, pick this, and then just merge that so it blends in. All right, look how it's blending in beautifully. And I'm not using that even adjacent color. I'm just taking some of that shade, just blending it. Then let's pick this color and then just blend it at the top there. Right? Take those heavy lines, distinct lines. Again, take this line and just go through the edges here, right? There. Do you see how quickly we did that? It was such a relatively easy, wasn't it? And now let's do the same thing. Now I generally like to work from dark to the lighter shade, but you can work any ways. You just keep doing that, and just feel whatever is working for you. Okay, there. Let's go take that down a bit, 13%. I picked this red color, and then I'm now just rubbing it over, and notice that my total color is still confined to that. Uh, to that region without overlapping too much of the orange region. That was the reason I took it down a little bit in the stepwise. Look, the same thing. Look how that's merging. Can you imagine doing it with any other tools? Just impossible, I think. Okay, yeah, see? There. So let's do the same thing with this red here and merge this red. In fact, because it's far in the horizon, I'm going to take that down so I have more tight control over this red region because it's in the horizon. Yeah, this is the kind of thing that you would typically use when you come to blending. This is such a beautiful blending exercise, so I can see why my daughter actually said, yeah, you can do this, Dad. So let's save this. And by the way, I'm actually using a prototype of the new improvement app that I'm working on. So sometimes I'm going to have some memory problems here, but the one that I've been showing you prior to this was perfectly fine. The one that comes from the live Google Play Store Paintology app. So what I've done is I've saved it, and I'm going to go back home and actually open it up again because we were trying to fix some memory issues here. So let me go to my paintings, open it up again, and now I have this, yeah? So now you see I'm able to pull this longer. So I'm working with my developer on this. So we'll have it fixed no time soon, but it won't affect you as a user. So I've taken it down even more. And why have I done that? Because I'm zoomed in and a lot closer to the horizon, and I don't want a big brush that just consumes the adjacent areas, do I? So I pick this here, this color. So I'm just merging in. Look at that beautifully in one stroke. It does it, and I don't even have the hardness setting anywhere else. Look, I'm gonna do that as well. Just merge it. Do that. I mean, what kind of degree of control would you have that in any other area? It's very hard, isn't it? Let's just pick that red color. Just pick this. This is control. This is like control that you would not have in any other medium, okay? So again, let's see. Let's do that because we know we could actually leave this, but in reality, the actual drawing says this is actually a tonal gradient that's going on here. So that's what I'm doing. Again, pick this. I'm glad my daughter showed me this blending. I was wondering how did she create blending in such detail? You see, it was all about technique. She came across a technique that just blew the doors open into blending. And this is a beautiful exercise on blending exercise. Look at that white. That just disappears into the horizon, doesn't it? That one, look at that. We're going to blend that in. It'll just disappear. Look at that. Beautifully disappeared into the horizon. And now let's go through all of that. Let's save this. Let's go through all of this, and then let's see what we have here. We're gonna keep blending. So let's keep blending as much as we can. So here, blending that beautiful. Such a beautiful exercise in blending that you can hardly see it. So I'm just doing the same thing. I'm just blending this color, and it seems to be working. 8%, 7%. Seems to be working nicely, so I'm going to keep it at that. And if I need to adjust it, I will. I'm going to pick this adjacent color. There. You see that? And that is giving you some kind of a band, but not the hard band of the original color. So I might increase it a little bit because it might be too, and then just diffuse that. Look how I've diffused that, right? If you increase the size of the brush, see what the difference it makes? It gives a broader sort of, very quickly we're going to blend. It's a blending exercise that it almost looks like a mist, doesn't it? There you are. There. Okay. And then just keep doing it. Keep doing it there. And just get all that blended away. This is the way the artists have done when they, the wet on wet technique by Bob Ross. It's because he does it in wet on wet, because it probably has a good blending capability, right? And then again, just diffuse that. I'm just going through it really quickly, not spending too much time. Don't want to spend too much time on this, because I do have another Ferdouse painting session to do as well. There. So now let's take that brush down, because we're nearer to a more of a smaller bend, the smaller width here. So I've just taken the size down because I want to retain some of this. There, take that. There. Okay, let's see what we have here. We've got a pretty good, impressive drawing coming up, isn't it? Now, what is the next step? In my opinion, I want this blue. I'm not looking at the other image. I'm quite satisfied with improving my own drawing. So I'm going to pick this blue here, increase it a little bit, and then take it all the way to just give that kind of a smoothing effect. It's not like an abrupt end going on here, right? So, and then if it's too harsh, bring down that. This is where we can bring down the density, and more control over this blue, yeah? And then pick this color and then stretch it all the way here so it looks uniform. Right, there's those hasn't stopped here or something. Right, and there. And then here, bring some of the orange and just mix it up with the orange, the top, just floating at the top. Right, you can hardly see it. And then if you want this red, just bring it up here, okay? This is it, that's all it is. And then this orange, just there. And that's looking really good, isn't it? And now I'm looking at the next step and I'm thinking, what am I going to do here? What's the next step? You know, I can see that I need to address this area. So that's part of the drawing process, yeah? So let me see what I have here. Yeah, you can see something going on here. So we need to take this brush down. And are we going to stick to the same? Yeah, no, I mean, the thing is, let's see what we have here. I'm thinking that I'm going to actually look at the original drawing and my drawing and then try and replicate as much detail as I can using the line brush, right? So I'm going to go back to the line brush. I got it at 1.5%. I'm going to pick this lovely sort of scene that's going on here, and then I can take this down so it's not like too harsh. Yeah, so watch what I'm doing here. Let's go take it halfway, then it's not too harsh. And what I mean by harsh is that it's not there. Can you see this black area that's going on here? Yeah, we need to put that, make sure, but that can be 100%. So we need, right, there's a land patch going on here. And then let's go here. You can see it's all black. So we need to just cover that. Right, got that? Yeah, good. And now we can see that we need that little lovely land piece. And that is too harsh in my opinion. If you want to, let's undo it. Right? Let's undo it and let's take that down. So when it's too harsh, this is where when you become accustomed to the tools, you'll see it's not too harsh like an ink pen. It has a different kind of a sort of like a diffused look about it. And then look at the original, and then you can see this color stretches through these tree lines here, and then just goes there. And then you have this beautiful black line that's going right across here. It's almost like a lake. And then you can see that you got this, increase the color here, just this beautiful, and then take it down if it's too harsh, right? And then I got this color, and I take that down. It's all a bit of experience. See that? There. See it? There. Just there. Okay, now let's see what we have. That's worked quite well, isn't it? Yeah, so now what we can do is we can do the same thing with these folks here. Sit in a group line just under that tree, right? And we know it looks like a little bit of blobbish, so we want to use the same line brush and a little bit of the diffused look. Right, a little bit of the diffused look that's going on. So we've still got 20% hardness. Let's take it down even more because these are small miniature details that we want to get. And then if you want to, take it down halfway and then just use the color picker and get that little girl in the swing. Then we got this little horizon area that's going on here in the horizon, yeah. Okay, we're going to put that in there. And then we have a person here. See, even that brush size is way too small, so I'm going to pretend there's a person there. And then look at this beautiful deep red here. They're watching. And then there's that black here that's coming up. So this is a bit like the dog drawing we did, where we alternated. So what you're doing is basically trying to get, if you've noticed any drawing or any painting in a museum, like for example, I did block coloring of the very famous, one of the most famous paintings in the world, John F. Constable, the Haywain. And the Haywain is a marshy ground, an English countryside where there's a marsh ground, beautiful white green plains at the back with the tree lights and a house on the left and a cart with a person in the marsh ground with a dog barking. I did that in block coloring, and then as I got close to it using block coloring, I began to notice more and more of the artist's mindset and how they thought when they started doing the drawing or the painting. They were not, trust me, they're not designing details. They do something that they can pull off very quickly with the minimum of effort, but give the illusion that there's something going on interesting, right? That's all they did. Here, right, and that there. Look at that. The sink, it's the color of that, right? And then we could look how big that, even that 1% is. Let's take that so we can draw the swing, right? There. Oops, that's even too thick, right? So let's really take that down. There. Okay, perfect, isn't it? And then we've got this stock color here. Let's take this up because we don't want to spend all day. There. Bringing that down here, the colors, beautiful colors. Right there. And then we can fix some of this issue on the top of the tree line here. Right there. Take the hardness up if it's not coming out just quick enough for you. Then pick another color. That's all we need. And then because we're so close to the details, we can add as much details as you want to. It's entirely up to you. It's your drawing. You can do whatever you like. Right there. Take that. Fix these tiny details to give the illusion that there, can you see that black region here? Some black leaves that are probably reflecting of the sunlight. Okay, so all you need, give the illusion. So let's see what we have here. I think we got something good going on there, isn't it? Yeah, it's worked quite well, actually. And then you can see here that the leaves, this is like too broad. The strokes are just way too broad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of this, and then tiny. You can do it either this way to give the illusion that there's light peeping through these leaves, right? It's not just a blob of something that we put down, right? Give the illusion, right? Even somewhere here, right? We know that light can seep through. And then here we got this color. What happened? Sorry, something happened. Okay, so we're gonna go here and just go through that. I don't know what happened there. And just have some light seeping through here. Not giving the dark. Because we know these trees are a little bit darker, right? There. Now, so you could use the color, the dark color, to create more of these branches with the small leaves, with the smaller, you know, giving a little bit more like, it's not like a, it's not just ends with like a globule, right? It's actually got tree-like features, right? Don't know what happened earlier, but anyway, I'm hoping I'll fix this because I think YouTube is trying to fix some issues with their things, yeah. So now we've got that. Now what we can do, we can finish this really quickly. I don't think there's much. We got the idea of leaves, you know, like watery stuff. I like that effect. I don't know about you, but I do like it. And then I can see that in this step of the drawing, I need to just clear up some of this line here. Let's see what that looks like a beautiful these. I'll just show you what I mean by that. Let me save this. Let me go home, save it, and then open it up again. Remember, I'm basically using a prototype app that I'm working with, and I need to fix some issues here. So again, here, look at these, right? I'm gonna stick to my, then give the illusion that there is some life, the background here, right? Make it look natural as opposed to anything. And look at this one here. So we can take some of this, keep the brush here and to what it was, and then just give the illusion. And if it's too hard, just take the density setting out. Right? Take the density setting down. And then what do we have here? Yeah, we've got this sort of running across this color. It's too harsh. So I'm going to take it down again, and then take it down. There. Okay. There, and then take some of that black. There. That giving the illusion that this horizon isn't like perfect blob. Right, again, take that there. And then we can take another of the brown color. Just give the illusion that there's more detail than meets the eye. That's all you need to do. There, do you see how that worked perfectly? And then we can do the same thing here. These are the reflections of the people. And so we have this density setting that we can work with. So I've just increased that so I can still bring out some details of these characters at the back, and then just give the illusion that it's not clearly defined in reflections. Come on, you've seen reflections are like a ripple, right? Yeah, so just, and then just use this color, meld it in a bit, yeah, and give some of that, look at that, give some of that, some of this rippling effect, right? Look at that. Beautiful, isn't it? Oops. Beautiful effect. Right? And then we need to fix this. Again, this density is really working for us, 40%. Could do the same thing again. Right, so just create the illusion. Right, there you are. I got one touch 11 o'clock with Ferdouse, so I'm going to have to do that. But this is like a pure reflection, which is fine, you know, because it's not. And then we'll see what we can do to enhance this. But right now you can see these are just the very areas that I can address, the white bits that are showing through from not having painted that bit. That's all there is. Very quick. Let's see what it looks like. It's beginning to look good. And then we can bring this beautiful line type, this color that we tried to bring in here to give some volume and shape. Yeah, can do exactly that. There, can you see it? Gives it shape. And then pick another color. Oops, that's too harsh. But it still can work. So what we can do is bring a different color. Let's see, let's try and add this color and then see if that works. Yeah, I think that's working, isn't it? And then put another line there. Why not, right? And then let's try and blend this color to the rest. So let's take it down and blend this orange into that part of that red, so it looks like realistic, right? And then take some of that orange, this orange color. So notice I'm going very fast. Take some orange color and then just give it some depth, you know, volume. Give it a little bit of color, different colors, so it gives it shape. Bring some of that black here as well. Let's see what we have here. I think we've done a good job here. It's working. And now on this, it's not quite, looks like a big dot. So let's fix this, right? Let's go here, pick this color. Then let's take down the density as much as we can. Keep the brush size this much and then just stretch it along. Right, that's too big, so we can take it down and then leave that and then just add the smaller brush that just goes above there and then here, and that just adds that effect, you know, the effect, that this beautiful effect that gives it a sense of depth. There, it looks like there's something, although there looks like that dot, that blob needs correcting. So I'm going to do that, and then pick some of the darker brown, just give that some shape. You see, this is, I'm using the Haywane technique, John F. Constable. people won't be able to tell what's going on. That's the illusion. The eyes will do most of the work. Here you can see here that I've got this black here, and then I've got it a low setting at the density, right? So I'm gonna try and diffuse that a little bit. We don't know what that is. Could be a rock or something, right? It's actually the reflection from above. Can you see it? Okay, so did we get away with it? I think so. I think we've gotten away with it. Now you can see that these set of trees here so look, can be improved, right? So I'm going to improve that. So let's go ahead and improve this because we did it very rapidly, right? Let's see how we could improve it. This is where we look at the original, right? And then we try and capture some of that original. Take the brush size down. I'm going to take it down and pick some of these deep purple colors, these lovely purple colors, and bring it down and give that illusion that these trees have these purple haze seeping through it. Right? Yes. So you'll see what a quick difference that makes. Right? And then we'll have the black that defines these trees. And then I can take it up a little touch bit so I can have more of an effect. Right there. So that too actually looks like a row of trees, right? Very quickly, look what I'm doing. This is exactly the way the majority of the artists paint, you know, because they're looking for that effect. Could be the effect of impressionism, whatever it is that they're working on. Let's see what that looks like. Wow, that definitely has made a big difference, has it not? And then finally, what we can do is, do you want to touch the right side of this here? Let's put a line. Let's put a line through this, right? But it's a little bit darker. That's what I want to do. Just take it a bit darker. I got one brush here, so let's just put a there. Did that make a difference? Let's have a look. I think it has. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So I'm quite happy with that. And I don't know how your drawings come about. So I'm going to finish here. And I'm just going to sign it. Okay, just filling this in. I'm going to sign it. And now we just finish here, I hope you have enjoyed this Paintology. So I hope you have enjoyed this, just to show you the power of understanding tones and just a couple of tools. That's all it is. It's not about digital tools that are going to make you a great drawing. It's all about the how you use it. And excuse me. I hope this has shown you how much fun it is to draw like this. And please subscribe, and I will bring you more of these great drawings, and so you can also improve your drawings tremendously, hopefully. All right then, so I'll see you next time again. Thank you. But don't forget, there's the other channel coming up very shortly in 20 minutes in Ferdouse, and you'll be able to go to the Ferdouse channel and check that out.